The bright stars twinkled in the dark sky as the alien fleet gathered near the planet Earth. The aliens were a proud race known as the Zircons. They had traveled far from their home to conquer new worlds. They had heard stories about humans, but they did not take them seriously. To the Zircons, humans were just a primitive race with weak ships. They laughed and mocked the humans, thinking they would win easily. Commander Tarka of the Zircon fleet stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dreadnought. He looked at his officers and smiled. "Today we will show these humans our strength," he said. The officers cheered, confident in their leader and their advanced technology. Tarka believed that their massive ships and powerful weapons would easily crush any resistance from the humans. As the Zircons prepared for battle, the human forces were busy on their side. The humans had received reports of the approaching Zircon fleet. Fleet Commander Sarah Jones gathered her officers in the command center. She was calm and serious. "We cannot underestimate our enemy," she warned. "They think we are weak, but we have surprises of our own." The officers nodded, knowing they had to stay alert. Tarka gave the order to attack. "Launch all ships! Show no mercy!" he commanded. The Zircon ships roared to life, engines glowing bright. They moved toward Earth like a storm, confident in their numbers. Tarka's heart raced with excitement. He could almost taste victory. As the Zircons approached Earth, they saw the human fleet waiting for them. But the humans had only a few ships compared to the Zircon armada. The aliens laughed loudly, believing they were on the verge of an easy win. "Look at those tiny ships! They will fall like dust," one officer joked. The others joined in, filling the bridge with their mocking laughter. The moment of truth arrived. The Zircons opened fire, their lasers cutting through space toward the human ships. Bright flashes lit the dark sky as the first shots were fired. The aliens felt a rush of confidence. They believed they would destroy the humans in seconds. But then something unexpected happened. The human ships, instead of being destroyed, moved with incredible speed. They activated their shields, glowing blue, absorbing the blasts from the Zircon weapons. Tarka squinted at the screens, his smile fading. "What is happening?" he shouted. Suddenly, the humans struck back. Their ships fired powerful beams of light that pierced through the darkness. The Zircons were not ready for this. One by one, their ships began to explode. The laughter that had filled the bridge turned into screams of panic. "Retreat! Retreat!" Tarka ordered, but it was too late. The human fleet was coordinated and focused. They had been preparing for this moment, and their training paid off. The Zircons had thought they were invincible, but now they were losing ships at an alarming rate. Humans were fighting back with a fierceness that shocked the aliens. Commander Jones watched as the Zircons faltered. "They thought they could crush us," she said to her crew, pride filling her voice. "But now they see our true strength." Her officers cheered, their spirits high as they pressed the attack. Meanwhile, Tarka struggled to regain control. His heart raced with anger and confusion. How can this be happening, he wondered. "We are the mightiest race in the galaxy." As the battle raged on, Tarka realized that underestimating humans would be his biggest mistake. The Zircon fleet was in chaos, and their overconfidence had led them to this moment of despair. Earth was not as easy a target as they had thought. With each passing second, the Zircons faced more losses. The battle had only just begun, but the tide was turning. The humans were ready to fight, and the Zircons were about to learn a hard lesson about the power of human determination. The battle continued to rage in the dark sky above Earth. Commander Tarka watched in shock as his Zircon fleet fell apart. Human ships moved with surprising speed and precision, firing powerful beams of energy. With every blast, Zircon ships exploded into bright clouds of debris. The Zircons had never seen anything like it. On the human side, Commander Sarah Jones felt a surge of pride as she watched her crew in action. "We have them on the run," she shouted. "Keep the pressure on! Don't let up!" Her officers nodded, determined to make their commander proud. The control room buzzed with excitement as they celebrated their unexpected success. The Zircons had been overconfident, thinking they could easily defeat the humans. Now they were discovering that the humans were fierce fighters. Sarah had spent months preparing for this battle. Her team had trained hard, and now their skills were paying off. As the Zircon ships turned to retreat, Sarah saw an opportunity. "Let's cut them off! Move to intercept!" she ordered. The human fleet quickly adjusted its formation, closing in on the fleeing alien ships. They were no longer just defending, they were on the offensive, ready to chase down their enemies. The human fleet unleashed a barrage of firepower. Laser beams shot out from every direction, creating a dazzling display of lights in the darkness. The Zircons tried to regroup, but panic filled their ranks. Their communications were in chaos, and many ships collided as they tried to escape. Tarka realized he had to do something fast. "Activate our defense shields!" he yelled, trying to maintain some control. "Prepare to fire all weapons." His officers scrambled to follow his orders, but the fear in their eyes told him they knew they were losing. The humans pressed on. Each ship moved with purpose, targeting the weakest Zircon vessels. Sarah's heart raced with excitement as she saw a Zircon cruiser coming into view. "Take it down!" she shouted. Her ship's weapons fired in unison, striking the alien ship with precision. The Zircon cruiser exploded, lighting up the dark space like a dying star. "Another one down!" cheered one of Sarah's officers. The crew celebrated, but Sarah remained focused. "Stay sharp! We still have work to do!" Meanwhile, the Zircons were losing their advantage. Commander Tarka could see the panic spreading among his crew. He watched as the humans fought with a spirit he had never expected. "These humans are stronger than we thought," he muttered, realizing that underestimating them had been a costly mistake. The tide of the battle was turning in favor of the humans. With every passing minute, the Zircon fleet lost more ships, and their morale sank. Tarka struggled to keep his composure. "Fall back! We need to regroup!" he shouted, but many ships were already too damaged to respond. As the human ships continued their assault, they communicated smoothly, coordinating their movements like a well-rehearsed dance. Sarah noticed how the human fleet worked together, moving as one unit. It was a beautiful sight to behold, and it filled her with pride. With their superior teamwork, the humans picked off Zircon ships one by one. The Zircons, once so confident, were now filled with fear. Tarka knew he had to find a way to turn the tide. He sent out desperate messages for reinforcements, hoping to save what was left of his fleet. But Sarah had other plans. "We won't let them escape," she said firmly. "We will show them that Earth is not an easy target." Her crew cheered, filled with determination. They pressed the attack, pushing the Zircons further back. Finally, the Zircons realized they could not win this battle. Tarka's heart sank as he saw his fleet in disarray. The humans were relentless, and their strikes were precise. He felt the weight of defeat heavy on his shoulders. As the last few Zircon ships tried to escape, Sarah ordered one final push. "Let's finish this!" she shouted. The humans fired one last barrage, ensuring that no Zircon ship would get away. The dark space lit up with explosions, signaling the end of the battle. The humans had struck back fiercely, teaching the Zircons a valuable lesson about underestimating them. As Sarah watched the smoke clear, she felt a sense of victory wash over her. The battle was theirs, and the fight for Earth had just begun. The battle above Earth had taken a surprising turn. Commander Sarah Jones and her fleet of human ships celebrated their victory over the Zircon forces. The atmosphere in the command center was filled with excitement and cheers. They had managed to push the Zircons back, but Sarah knew that this was just the beginning. The Zircons would not give up so easily. "Prepare for a counterattack," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the victory. "They may be regrouping, and we need to be ready." Her crew quickly got to work, checking their weapons and systems. But in the back of her mind, Sarah felt a sense of unease. She knew that the Zircons would come back stronger. Meanwhile, far from the battle, deep in the heart of Earth, hidden away in a secret facility, lay humanity's greatest weapon, a massive ship called the Leviathan. This ship was unlike any other. It had been built in secret, designed to protect Earth from powerful threats. It was armed with advanced technology that the Zircons had never seen. Commander Eric Thompson, the captain of the Leviathan, stood in the control room of his ship, waiting for the order to join the battle. He had trained for this moment for years, and he could feel the adrenaline pumping through his veins. He had heard the news about the recent battle, and he knew that he had to act fast. Back in the command center, Sarah received a communication from Eric. "Commander Jones, we are ready to deploy the Leviathan. Just say the word, and we will join the fight," he said, his voice strong and confident. Sarah's heart raced at the thought of unleashing their hidden weapon. "Bring her out!" Sarah shouted, excitement filling her voice. "We need the Leviathan in the fight now!" Her crew erupted in cheers, knowing that this was a crucial moment. The Leviathan would give them the edge they needed to turn the tide of the war. As the massive ship emerged from its hidden dock, it dwarfed the other human vessels around it. Its sleek design and powerful engines glowed with energy. The crew of the Leviathan prepared for battle, their hearts filled with determination. They knew they were about to face a dangerous enemy. Meanwhile, Tarka and the remaining Zircons were not far away. They were regrouping after their defeat, trying to plan their next move. Tarka was furious. "We must show these humans that we are not weak," he shouted at his officers. They nodded, knowing they needed to recover quickly. Suddenly, the radar picked up a new signal. Tarka's eyes widened as he saw the enormous shape of the Leviathan approaching. "What is that?" he asked, fear creeping into his voice. The Zircons had never seen a ship of that size or power. It was a terrifying sight. Sarah watched as the Leviathan moved into position. "This is it," she said to her crew. "We are about to show the Zircons what Earth is made of." The crew cheered once more, feeling the excitement and pride of their mission. With the Leviathan now part of the battle, Sarah ordered an attack. The ship fired its main cannon, unleashing a massive blast of energy that struck the Zircon fleet. The shockwave rippled through space, and several Zircon ships were destroyed in an instant. Tarka felt panic rise in his chest. "Fall back! Get out of range!" he ordered. But it was too late. The humans had come prepared, and the Leviathan was a force to be reckoned with. The Zircons were not only fighting humans anymore, they were now facing a weapon of unimaginable power. The humans pushed forward with renewed strength. The Leviathan was leading the charge, its weapons firing with precision and speed. The remaining Zircon ships were caught off guard, struggling to keep up. The tide had shifted completely in favor of the humans. As explosions lit up the sky, Sarah felt a surge of hope. They were finally showing the Zircons the true strength of humanity. She smiled, knowing that they had a chance to protect their planet and their people. The Leviathan continued to wreak havoc on the Zircon fleet, its powerful weapons striking true. The Zircons were retreating, and it was clear that their overconfidence had led them to underestimate the humans once again. The battle was far from over, but with the Leviathan now in play, Sarah felt confident that Earth would prevail. The Zircons had made a grave mistake, and they would soon learn the consequences of underestimating the spirit of humanity. The Leviathan continued to dominate the battlefield, its powerful weapons striking down Zircon ships one by one. Commander Sarah Jones felt a wave of pride as she watched the massive ship unleash its firepower. But she knew that the Zircons were not finished yet. They were regrouping and planning their next move. On board the Zircan flagship, Commander Tarka felt the pressure mounting. His fleet had suffered heavy losses, and morale was low. He slammed his fist on the control panel, frustration boiling over. "We cannot allow these humans to defeat us!" he shouted. His officers exchanged worried glances, uncertain of how to respond. Tarka took a deep breath and forced himself to think clearly. "We need to use our remaining ships wisely," he said. "We cannot let fear take over. We must show these humans that we are still a force to be reckoned with." His officers nodded, eager to prove themselves. The Zircons quickly worked to repair their damaged ships and prepare for a counterattack. They knew they had to strike back before the humans could gain even more confidence. Tarka devised a plan to lure the humans into a trap. He ordered his remaining ships to scatter and create a distraction while the flagship set up for a surprise ambush. Meanwhile, Sarah and her crew were focused on maintaining their momentum. "Keep your eyes peeled," Sarah warned her officers. "The Zircons might be planning something. We can't let our guard down." They nodded, ready for whatever the enemy might throw at them. As the humans advanced, Tarka watched from the shadows of his flagship. He felt a surge of determination. "Now!" he ordered, signaling the scattered Zircon ships to regroup and execute the ambush. Suddenly, the Zircons came together, firing their weapons with surprising coordination. The humans were caught off guard. "Incoming fire!" one officer shouted. Sarah's heart raced as she quickly assessed the situation. "Divert shields to the front," she yelled. The crew scrambled to comply, trying to protect their ship from the sudden barrage of energy beams. The Zircons took advantage of the chaos, firing relentlessly at the Leviathan. Tarka felt a rush of hope as he watched their weapons strike the massive ship. "We can do this!" he shouted. The Zircons were fighting back with all their might, and it seemed that the tide might turn in their favor. But Sarah was not about to back down. "Prepare to counterattack!" she ordered, her voice steady. "We need to show them that we can fight back just as hard." The crew worked quickly, resetting their weapons and getting ready for the next move. With a deep breath, Sarah signaled for the Leviathan to fire its main cannon again. The ship unleashed a powerful beam of energy that cut through the darkness, striking a group of Zircon ships. The explosions lit up the battlefield, reminding everyone of the danger they faced. Tarka watched in horror as more of his fleet was destroyed. "We cannot let them take us down!" he yelled, desperation creeping into his voice. "Regroup and focus fire on the Leviathan. It's their strongest weapon." His crew nodded, feeling the pressure but determined to fight. As the Zircons focused their firepower on the Leviathan, Sarah realized that they needed to turn the tables. "All ships, we need to flank them," she ordered. The human fleet quickly maneuvered, trying to surround the Zircons and cut off their escape routes. The battle raged on, with both sides exchanging fire. The humans fought fiercely, refusing to let the Zircons regain their confidence. Sarah felt a surge of pride as she watched her crew work together, their teamwork shining through even in the chaos. But the Zircons were not ready to give up. Tarka ordered a desperate charge at the Leviathan. "We will break their spirits," he yelled, leading the attack himself. His officers followed, their determination renewed. As the Zircons advanced, Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "Get ready!" she shouted to her crew. "This is going to be a tough fight!" The humans braced themselves, knowing that they had to stay strong against the Zircon onslaught. The battle reached a fever pitch, as both sides fought with everything they had. The air crackled with energy, and explosions echoed through the vastness of space. Sarah realized that the outcome of this battle would determine the fate of Earth. With both sides refusing to back down, it was clear that this fight was far from over. The humans had shown their strength, but the Zircons were proving to be a formidable enemy. Tensions ran high as each commander plotted their next move, knowing that the fight for survival was just beginning. The battle raged on in the cold void of space. The Leviathan and the human fleet fought bravely against the relentless Zircon assault. Commander Sarah Jones stood at the command console, her eyes focused on the chaos unfolding outside. Explosions lit up the dark canvas of space as both sides exchanged fire, each determined to claim victory. "Status report!" Sarah called out, her voice strong despite the pressure mounting around her. Her crew worked furiously at their stations, calculating damage and reloading weapons. "Shields at 50%, Commander," one officer replied. "But we are still operational. Weapons are ready for firing." "Good," Sarah said, determination in her voice. "Prepare for another assault. We need to show the Zircons that we won't back down." Meanwhile, aboard the Zircon flagship, Commander Tarka was feeling the strain of the ongoing fight. His ships were dwindling, and he could see the confidence of his crew starting to fade. "Push forward," he shouted, rallying his officers. "We cannot let them win. If we falter now, Earth will crush us." Tarka's voice rang with urgency, and his crew responded with renewed energy. They knew that this battle was crucial for their survival. "All ships, focus fire on the Leviathan. We must take it down," he commanded, pointing at the giant human ship that had become their greatest threat. As the Zircons advanced, Sarah quickly devised a plan. "Flank them! We need to divide their forces," she ordered. The human fleet split into two, attacking the Zircon ships from opposite sides. This tactic caught the Zircons off guard, forcing them to divide their fire. The Leviathan unleashed its main cannon, a brilliant beam of energy cutting through the dark space and striking a Zircon cruiser. The ship erupted in flames, disintegrating before their eyes. The humans cheered, feeling the thrill of victory surge through their ranks. But Tarka was not ready to accept defeat. "Regroup and fire at will," he yelled. His remaining ships aimed their weapons at the Leviathan, their resolve hardened. The Zircons fired with all their might, trying to overwhelm the massive human vessel. "Brace for impact," Sarah shouted as the crew prepared for the oncoming fire. The Leviathan shook as the Zircon weapons hit, but the ship held strong. "Return fire! Show them our power!" she commanded. The battle continued, each side pushing the other to the limit. The air was thick with tension and the sounds of explosions. Sarah knew they had to win. Earth's future depended on it. But the Zircons were relentless, and their numbers were still formidable. In a desperate move, Tarka ordered a final charge. "All ships, attack at full power!" he commanded. His fleet surged forward, aiming straight for the Leviathan. This was their last chance to turn the tide. Sarah watched as the Zircons advanced, a wave of determination filling her. "Now," she shouted. "Fire everything we've got!" The crew unleashed their weapons, a flurry of energy beams and missiles shooting toward the charging Zircons. The two sides collided in a storm of light and sound. The Leviathan's weapons found their mark, and several Zircon ships were destroyed in an instant. But the Zircons fought fiercely, trying to break through the human defenses. As the dust began to settle, Sarah took a deep breath and surveyed the damage. The battlefield was littered with debris from both fleets. It was clear that many ships had been lost on both sides, but the Leviathan stood tall, refusing to fall. "Push forward! We can do this," Sarah encouraged her crew. With renewed energy, they charged into the fray, determined to finish what they had started. On the Zircon flagship, Tarka realized that their forces were dwindling. He could see that victory was slipping from his grasp. "Fall back!" he shouted, knowing it was time to retreat. The remaining Zircan ships turned, trying to escape the relentless human fire. As the Zircons fled, Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. "We did it!" she exclaimed, joy bubbling within her. The human fleet had won the day, forcing the Zircons to retreat. They had shown the galaxy the strength of humanity. Cheers erupted in the command center as the crew celebrated their hard-won victory. But Sarah knew that this was just one battle in a much larger war. They had proven themselves, but the Zircons would be back. As the Leviathan and the human fleet regrouped, Sarah felt a sense of pride. They had fought for their home and their people, and they would continue to do so. Together, they had defended Earth against a powerful enemy, and they would stand ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle may have been over, but the fight for humanity's future was just beginning. With determination and courage, they would face whatever came next.